Good morning, everybody, and welcome to First Friday Lunch. As you can see, this is not a typical live event, as it's not live, and I am at the lakes. And this video is sponsored by Writers and Garden, and we'll be talking about rebalancing and a little bit about retreats, because that's normally our topic in September anyway. So here we go. Personal, obviously I'm at the lakes. I'm also going to be working during First Friday Lunch. We're doing one of our last spray jobs for the year, so we're going to finish that up and hopefully put a little more money in the bank. That's good. Health-wise, I'm doing very good. I've joined the board. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I was finally able to get a meter approved by my insurance, and this is a Dexcom G7. And so I have to keep my phone everywhere with me, which is kind of annoying. I've actually asked if I could get a sensor reading. They have like the G7 receiver that goes with it. So I've asked if I could get one of those in order to go ahead and be closer, because it's smaller. Because this is the size of my phone. It's pretty big. Does not fit easily in a pocket or whatever. So as a matter of fact, I've had it fall out a couple times, and the protective screen on it is already cracked pretty significantly in the corner. So anyway, so I've asked my doctor to see if my insurance company will pay for that. But personally, I'm doing all right. We're at the lakes. We're putting on our deck that my parents had meant to. This is my parents' cabin that I inherited when they passed, and this is the master bedroom, I guess. It's the biggest bedroom on the second floor. And so we're putting on a deck. So we've been trying to balance, it's ironic that we're talking about balance today. So, but we're trying to put the deck on. So my husband's out there doing footings to kind of replace the old footings that are still standing or whatever. So, anyway, so that's kind of what's going on personally. Book news. I do not have anything coming out in the near future. However, my new pseudonym, K Max, has 2 short stories that will probably both be out in the fall. One is with the Bisman Writers Guild for Legends of Small Town, North Dakota. And the title of that one is called Lost Little Soul. And all the stories take place in a fictional town called Small Town, North Dakota. Likewise, my story with Moorhead Friends Writing Group, they're writing FM Falls 2 Tales of Lost Souls, I think, as the title. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. And I have a K-Max story in there as well, which is it's called The Disappearance of Frank Balsam. And if you remember, I wrote in FM Falls, the first one, I wrote a story called The Nude Eye Alibi, which is about Kathy Balsam and how the town thinks that she's starting up a nudist colony is like the initial premise of the story. So I thought I would follow. She talks about her husband leaving years earlier, and so I thought I'd like, what happened to Frank Balsam? So I wrote a short story about that, so people will know what happened to Frank Balsam. Okay, so that's kind of personal. That's books. Let's get into the topic, which is balance. If you read the September newsletter from Writers and Garden, you'll notice that the entire theme of the newsletter was balance or autumnal equinox. I noticed after I sent it, I was just looking at the test email, that my header was like totally wrong on my article, but it says education, which was last month. But anyway, so it was about balance. And I kind of talked about things that I do when I become out of balance. So I'm going to just kind of expand on that a little bit. And one of the first things that I usually will do is I need to make sure I'm getting enough sleep. Because if I don't have enough sleep, I am definitely unbalanced. It helps if I need like 8 hours, but I've noticed with this new medical cocktail that I'm on, I am very tired. And so I want to sleep a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm not typically a nappy person unless I am like sick. Then I'll nap. But this has been like kind of whatever. Although all things considered, even though this cocktail makes me tired, it also helps with my blood sugar quite a bit. So I'm overall happy with it. But that's the first thing is I will do is try and get sleep. So basically a lot of the unbalancing things are really revolving around my health, not necessarily my writing or even work or my personal life. I try and work on my health because that's the stuff that I can control, right? So the next thing is my health. Am I taking my vitamins? Am I taking my medication? Am I getting enough sleep? Coming into fall, I sort of have a reset button at the end of the month which is ironic because it's going into the third or the fourth quarter. At the end of the month, I go on a retreat with some Writers and Garden members. It's called the Founders Retreat. And so we'll Founders Writing Retreat, I think. Anyway, we're going to be going to Portland this year, but I've always looked at that as a reset, kind of like it's back to school anyway, at least in my part of the world. A lot of other people went back to school in August. Minnesota doesn't go back until after Labor Day, and there are a few other states I don't believe go back until after Labor Day. And then North Dakota starts, it was all over the board. Like some towns, like when I grew up, because I grew up in Fargo, it was always the week before Labor Day. You would start like the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and you'd go that week, and then you'd have Labor Day off, and then you're basically in school for the year. But pretty much that end of August, very beginning of September was always when school started. So I've always kind of looked at this as a big reset time because I'm already going off and I'm buying maybe new planners, maybe new school supplies for my kids when they were younger, and that sort of thing. So I've always kind of looked at it as a reset, and this retreat marks the very end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter, and so it's just kind of like, it's always a way to think about what you're doing for the next year, because I always look at the fourth quarter as a little bit of a wash anyway, because once you get into November and December, and like a lot of people will do National Novel Writing Month in November, which I guess I actually Googled this because I was curious, because now that NaNoWriMo is kind of defunct, I was curious whether it was still going to be called National Novel Writing Month, because technically I think that was established before the group was, but apparently it is still going to be called that. So I was like, okay, well, but many people have left NaNoWriMo, and I don't blame you if you have, so because there's a lot of BS going on over there. So, but anyway, so a lot of people will still write their novel or 50K in a month or whatever. And there's a bunch of new organizations popping up that are going to be doing stuff. Writers and Garden may do some stuff. We'll find out. So it's something that the board will have to talk about, and we'll just see if we're going to be doing anything around National Novel Writing Month. I almost want to say National Novel Writing Month, like the whole frickin' thing, or Novel Writing Month, just because, right? So anyway, sorry, I'm shaking my desk and it's kind of wobbling the camera, so please forgive me. Anyway, so there's that, which a lot of people will try and do a lot of words in the month of November. And then you've got the holidays pretty much as of Thanksgiving on through January, right? Because there's a lot of holidays that take place in the month of December. So I've always kind of considered them a wash anyway. I've never considered them since I left my job. Since my job left me, that's probably a better way to say that. Since my job left me, I've never really worked in the month of December. So this end of this end of season writing retreat, basically, or this end of quarter writing retreat is basically sort of a whole reset, because I really do start thinking in the last quarter about things I want to do in the next year. So that's that. But back to balance or whatever. So I'll look at like health. So like we're coming into the season, and I'll go back to like going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. I don't really do it in the summer because our work schedule is so chaotic. I shouldn't say chaotic. It's not really, but it's not very easily planned for. So I've gotten to the gym maybe 3 or 4 times all summer. So I will try and get back to going regularly, like pick some days going regularly during the course of the next year or whatever. So I'll do that. So that's like one thing, get back on schedule with my diet. Although the summer, diet-wise, I did put on some weight because I tend to eat more convenient food, which is never really healthy for you. But I've got some salads. I am like totally in love with Waldorf salad, which I know is not the healthiest salad, but I am totally in love with this dressing that I found for it. And I'm like, so good, so good. Plus, I'm eating lettuce and fruit and nuts and celery and all these other things that you put in there. So I've found some like recipes that I really like. And also, so I'll be looking at more of my diet, more of my physical activity, obviously sleep we talked about. And then I think the other thing is to analyze, if you think that you're out of balance, just analyze what is going on in your life that's causing this. Are you having personal troubles? Are you having writing troubles? And I talked a little bit about this in the article, is like, what can you let go? What can you let go so that you can kind of move on and like sometimes I can't write 1,000 words a day. That's always my goal, is 1,000 words a day, but I very rarely hit it. I usually will hit when I'm kind of in the mode and I join up with like some writer sprints and stuff, because that's the best way I seem to write. I generally will hit more in like the 500 to 800 range, which is still good, but my goal is always to do like 1,000 words. If I do more, great. If I don't, that's fine. But like coming into like this season, I tend to write less. Like the month of November, if I write 200 words a day or nothing at all, and all I do is my morning pages, perfect. Good enough. We'll call that a day. But I take it easy on myself. So I think when you look at stuff that you need to let go, like analyze what's going wrong, what's causing the problem, what's taking up my time so that I'm not balanced, I'm not getting writing done, I'm not getting whatever done. And then also decide whether that's more important. Obviously, if you have some sort of family crisis, like I did no writing while my dad was in hospice, because writing was not the most important thing. The dishes weren't the most important thing. Laundry wasn't the most important thing. Sometimes feeding myself wasn't the most important thing. So I kind of let everything go because I was in the season of dealing with my father's passing. So I think you just need to kind of analyze it and say, okay, what's going on and how do I fix it? And then I think the other thing is just when the crisis is over, take a break. Take time off from life a little bit. I mean, don't totally check out, but get back to things that you enjoy. If you like writing and you enjoy it and you don't consider it work, go ahead and write. But if you're a crafter, which I know many writers are, work on a craft you haven't worked on in a while to try and find out what's going on inside you. It lets you kind of get in touch with yourself and see what's going on. And I would encourage you to do reading, crafting, and probably less watching of TV, just because TV is kind of a zone out, and it can be, well, and for God's sakes, if you do watch TV, watch like not the news, like not the politics that we've got going on right now, especially if that causes you anxiety or stress. If you get mad or yell at the TV, I'm not saying you shouldn't be involved, but if that's like a trigger point for you, don't do it. But I almost think that you're better off reading like fiction or craft books or something like that to just kind of like resettle into yourself, and then you can go back to what's important to you. What does a balance thing look like? If writing only on the weekends balances you out, that's what you need to do. If writing every day at 5 o'clock till 5:30 balances you out, that's what you need to do. You need to do what works for you. And just the more you take care of yourself and stay in balance, the more the words will flow, the more things will get done. It's sort of like in the article, one of the things I had said is put your own mask on. You know, this is the part where you put your own mask on before you, in the plane, when they tell you put your mask on before helping others. This is the part where you put your own mask on and take care of yourself before worrying about others. So those are just some like kind of little touch tip things that I ended up with for the article that I had written at the beginning of the month. So the last thing we're going to talk about is retreats, because I think that if you have a chance to attend a retreat, and there are affordable retreats and there are not so affordable retreats. I usually have 2 at the end of September. Right now I only have 1. Normally Moorhead Friends Writer Group does an annual retreat 2 around December. Maybe they're going to move it to October, but I haven't seen a date for that yet. There's also a retreat, or not, I wouldn't say it's a retreat. It's like an education thing with up in this area where I'm at. I'm outside of, I'm in like the Osage, Park Rapids, Detroit Lakes area. I'm technically in Becker County right now, but the Jack Pines Writing Group, which is based out of Park Rapids, is also having a seminar or something like that at the end of the month. I think it's like might be the 19th or something. I think it's like a couple Saturdays from now. And then, so there's that retreat and then obviously I'm going to the founders retreat or whatever at the end of September. And one of the things I think retreats do is some of them are solely writing focused. A lot of them are becoming more about like this balance thing that we're talking about. Writers and Garden, we do a retreat every spring. If you are interested in that, it's totally online, totally free. And it is a little bit about writing. There's a little bit of craft, but a lot of it is about refilling your well. A lot of it is, we'll do some yoga. We've done, do some spa sessions. We do meditation. We do a variety of things to try and refill your well, because this is a business that is almost exclusively solo. We don't very often get to interact with others when we're writing. Nowadays, there are writing sprints online. There are write-ins. Sometimes those are on Zoom. Sometimes they're on Google Meet. We also have one every Monday that's on Google Meet, and we can get together. But it's a solo thing. And then when you're stressed and you become unbalanced, it's not as easy to get in touch with these communities, especially if you don't have a writing group in your area. A lot of the writing groups that are probably more popular since the pandemic are things that are online. So Morehead Friends Writing Group, which is I'm a member of as well, grew during the pandemic to like 14 states or something like that. So many of the people that attend our biweekly meetings are from out of state. And I think that having connection with other writers so you can talk about struggles in your writing, talk about things that are going on in the business, and talk about those things really help you stay connected. And I think it's important too that you have like a reset period. Like right now I'm going into retreat and I got a conference coming up. I've decided to go to Author Nation in November, and I still have a bunch of stuff I got to do for that. So I kind of like really am looking at my schedule today, like day to day. So obviously I'm making this video like right before Friday. I did my Authors Day, which is a weekly blog I do about where I spotlight authors on my blog. I just did that last night. So I'm like literally going day by day by day. And so I think it's important that you periodically refill your well, which is kind of what I'll be doing at the end of September. And I think that helps bring balance to me. I get to connect with some friends. We don't all write in the same genre. We are not all published, and we just connect and we visit and we talk about writing and we talk about our lives, and it's a really great opportunity to connect. So, which I highly recommend. If you're not in a writing group, if you haven't joined a tribe, join one. They're significant. And even if you're not a writer, there's artist groups out there. There's pottery groups. There's sewing. There's a sewing group in Fargo that they get together in a area. Quilting bees. I mean, there's all this stuff that you could do. So I think that it's important to work with other tribes and find ways to rebalance yourself. So that's kind of all I got for today. I hope you guys have a terrific weekend, and I will see you next month on First Friday Lunch, which will be, let me look at my little calendar, which I actually have in front of me. That hardly ever happens. Next Friday. First Friday Lunch will be October 4th at 11:30 Central Standard Time, so go ahead and pencil me in for lunch.